Welcome back to the Shadetree Garage. And we're going to talk about something a little bit different. We're talking about headlights and 12-volt wiring. All right, so grab yourself a cold one. It is hot as blazes in the Shadetree Garage right now. And I had to turn the fan off so you could hear me. So let's hope I don't sweat myself to death between now and the end. I'll try to keep it short. I certainly have incentive. All right, now we've got headlights here on my 56 Plymouth. Now, those of you who have classic cars probably know one thing. If you've driven it at night, you're aware that the headlights suck. The headlights are there, but they're not anything like modern headlights. They're dim, really dim. Now, there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, these are sealed beams. I have no idea how old they are, but they're sealed beams. Now, before they had used electricity, I think they had some sort of kerosene lantern or carbide lights. Sealed beam headlights have been with us for many, many years. In fact, I'm not sure when they actually replaced them with halogen. I know I can remember the days when halogen headlights weren't legal in many states because they were too bright. Imagine that. Anyway, so you're driving your classic Hupmobile or whatever it is, your driver's choice, and your headlights are dim, and you're running down a country road as I did, and you've got one headlight that's actually lighting the road, and the other one seems to be spotlighting the center of the highway and about 4 feet in front of you. Okay, so this car wasn't driven much at night because the headlights are wonky. One's up, one's down. So hopefully you can get it back to the shop safely. I was able to follow another car down this windy country road. Of course, I knew the road anyway, but still, when you can't see what's in front of you and you can't see that deer that may be standing out there, that 12-point buck may be, you may get to know that buck much more intimately if you aren't careful. One of the problems you run into with old cars is old car wiring. I had a 55 Chevy many, many years ago, and now the car was only 25 years old when I bought it, but the wiring had already been absolutely butchered, and it looked like a rat's nest in the dash, and I never tried to understand where went what went where. All I knew is when you pulled the headlight switch, the headlights usually came on. And actually, the car came with a one-piece fiberglass front end, so all the wiring for everything, the exterior lights, had to go through one big-ass cable, and there was a connector like you had for if you're pulling a trailer to hook up the brake lights, but there was one of those in the system. And I never did rewire that. I just kept the connector in there. However, going across Illinois, in the middle of Illinois, going to the Street Machine Nationals 1982, and I'm boogieing along in my 55 Chevy with my girlfriend, and we hit a bump somewhere in the middle of flatland, and the lights went out. And we weren't near any town. It was the darkest I think I've ever seen. But fortunately, there was a motorcycle rider a mile or two behind me, and he pulled up, and we used a headlight. He provided the light that allowed me to troubleshoot what was wrong. And I kind of had an idea of what was wrong, I just couldn't see how to fix it. Me without a flashlight in the middle of nowhere in Darksville. Go figure. Lesson learned, though. That wiring system, of course, fiberglass, there was no way to get a ground. There was no return path, so they had to add one to the wiring. And that wire wasn't tight on, it had a connector, and the connector came loose. And so all the front end lights went out. Everything did. So it was a little scary not being able to see, where you are on the road to pull over. Anyway, it didn't take long to fix, and we were back on the road. Now, old car wiring varies from car to car. It may be original. Okay, that's fine. It may have been butchered like the wiring underhood wiring in this thing. I'll show you in a minute, but the wiring for the headlights, parking lights, turn signals, horn, all these front end accessories is woefully inadequate. It is tiny gauge wire. So you wonder why the headlights are dim? Well, there's probably a 2-volt voltage drop between the 12-volt bus and the front of the car. So the wiring is substandard. All right, now the wiring also comes to the front of the car to this. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's a terminal strip, a vertical terminal strip there, and one of the lights, one of the wire terminals is for the bright headlights. The other one is for the dim. Other one for turn signals, parking lights, etc. But all those wires have been replaced at some point. All those wires are replaced with teeny tiny wires, all the same color. And I'll show you what that mess looks like. Actually, it works. Not very well, but it works. All right, hang on just a moment. All right, guys, let's look at the wiring. This is starter solenoid, and this is a mess down here, let me tell you. But that's the way it came. The yellow wire, I'm not sure exactly what that goes to. I think it goes to the starter. I don't know. Anyway, but what I really want to show you, the wiring mess I really want to show you is this. These are the wires from the that carry 12 volts to all of the headlights, parking lights, and turn signals, and the horn. These little bitty wires. So you wonder why the horn is weak, or you wonder why the headlights are dim. It's because there's probably one hell of a voltage drop between where these wires begin and where they end up here. Now let's see, let's take a look. All right. Now right here is the vertical terminal strip that has all the wiring, and isn't that a mess? All the wires look substandard, look a little small to me, but you know, I grew up with electronics, so and I'm concerned about safety and having headlights. Sure. All right, something else I want to share with you, and this doesn't have anything to do with headlights. See that quick disconnect? When I got the car, it was over on the positive terminal. Now, I don't know what you may have learned in shop class, but a quick disconnect should go on the ground in my book, so I swapped that. Let me know what you think if you've ever used one of these quick disconnects. And I think the telltale thing for me is that's green. Green is ground. So I swapped it away from the other battery terminal. All right, let's go back. Now, I can tell you I have, you can ohm out or take a voltmeter, and I used to be able to tell you what terminals each was, but I can't now without looking at the shop manual or using a voltometer. But there's a way around, there's a way to fix this. And hang on, we'll be right to it. All right, we're back with the front end here, and there's the terminal strip, headlight, parking light, and turn signal down below. And I showed you the little bitty wiring. And I guess it's not that substandard, but headlights draw some current. And I've always, I still think the little wiring is responsible, that wiring is responsible for how dim the headlights are. All right, so, but there's a way to fix that. And there are several, you can buy them all day on eBay. There are kits that basically install a relay, and they provide 12 volts directly from the battery to your headlights. And then there's a couple of relays paired together. And then you switch those relays depending on if you want high beam or low beam. Now those relays are controlled by your original dimmer switch wiring. That's right, you hook your dimmer switch up. Now, the path to headlights on these old cars is torture. It really is. It goes from the battery to the dash to the headlight switch. From there, it goes down to the dimmer switch. And there it goes from the dimmer switch up to under the hood to this terminal, and then it goes to the headlights. This way of updating that with two relays and allowing that dimmer switch to switch the relays is a much safer way to do it, especially if you want better headlights. Now, I've investigated halogen headlights to put in here, and I've actually got a pair to put in, and I've got the kit with the relays. I just haven't installed it yet. More recently, I bought a kit with LED headlights, and those are the ones I really want to use. However, I'm still going to use the relays just to make sure I've got solid 12 volts or 13.8, whatever you want to call it, to those headlights without any voltage drop through all the contorted routing of the 12 volts in the car itself. Now, many years ago, the J.C. Whitney mail order catalog used to have wiring harnesses out the wazoo for all sorts of cars. I probably could have got one for this back then, back in the day. Not so easy now, so I'm going to make do with the wiring I have, I guess, though I'm not real happy with it. Whoever thought of putting every wire under the hood black should be taken out behind the Shadetree Garage and given a whooping with a heater hose. That's just my thoughts on it. I'm normally not a violent guy, but when I see stupid stuff like that, so anyway, but be aware of your wiring situation, and if you're going to upgrade your headlights, please double check. And if you have questions about, well, can my wiring handle the extra load of halogen or LED headlights, don't be afraid to buy one of those kits with the relays. They are inexpensive, and they're a safeguard, and they will make sure your new headlights get the proper voltage. So it's a no-brainer to me. It really is. That's going to do it for the Shadetree Garage. Hope you've enjoyed it. Click the like button if you enjoyed this video, and consider subscribing to stay in touch with us, and we'll have plenty more coming from the Shadetree Garage in the future. Take care.